Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my BitChute YouTube simulcast together. This is Dr. Gaze 101, also known as Doctor of Ghetto, for this particular video at hand. As the title states here, that why is it that how did the first black president's essence almost destroy the pro-black movement? I know I should have made this video back as early as maybe 2014, 2015, 2016, give or take. But I never thought about it in this detail before until as of lately, and I've been thinking about it, contemplating about it. I was like, you know what? Let me just explain my point of view of the matter. And I'm not trying to bash the person of the Barack Obama, the person himself, the human being himself of Barack Obama. It's of being the first black president, of presidency, of the New World Order agenda, the Black Power movement, how it all ties in together, and what created this. In my perspective, from my perspective on how the Black Power movement almost got destroyed by these agendas, or by the agenda they extended with the first black president. Because when you think about it, back in 2004, we had that movie back with Head of State with Chris Rock. And people were like, oh yeah, we're going to have a first black president, hopefully, you know. But then back then, as early as 2004, most of how many people, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Now, okay, maybe if they're white, maybe they're Mexican, maybe they are some arrogant related matter, a group of people are arrogant and thinking that we're going to have a black president. Oh, well and good. But from what I see is that it was predicted. It was called predictive programming, based on what Alan Watt explained many years ago. So I know it sounds far-fetched, and I'm grabbing too much for me to chew on. You know, it's overwhelming at first, because how can you put that pro-black movement, something that you see yourself, Dr. Games, but you don't see it as a good thing? And at first, I thought of it too, back as early as 2007, when Barack Obama came on the scene of running for president of the United States, and he was with Google forums, stuff like that, those places where you see on the internet where they talk about politics and, you know, about what to do with this country and this, that, and the other thing. Their information out there back in as early as 2008 is the information no longer there by the side of things. But you know, they say that Obama tried to run for president 180 days after becoming the senator of Illinois. And I'm like, wow, that's some information right there that I have to live up to, because for what I gathered, he being the senator as early as 2005, Mr. Obama. So it's like, who's what trying to lie to who about just the man himself, the man who was going to be the first black president. And at first, this created an not uprising, but you know, a positive effect on the pro-black movement. Where, to those who are now well aware of the pro-black movement, it's a movement as early as the 1960s, could be earlier, but usually the 1960s, of black men, black women, black children. They come together, or the children, of course, don't have no say in the matter to some extent, but they are well aware of what's going on as they get older. But it's a movement where you focus on culture that originated from Africa, parts of like South Africa, Ghana, Morocco. Depends on how far back you can go back to see your roots. And we had Kwanzaa, that was created back in the 1960s by Dr. Carjena, if I pronounce his name properly. I could be wrong about the matter. He actually had his own little dirt on him about forming a radical group I'm not sure about taking over the government, but just to cause a place of their own. But it's more radical than you're thinking of. Because back in the 1960s and 70s, we had the Black Panthers, the Siamese Liberation Army, how many other, the Weather Underground, like these are a mixture of both black and white people fighting for a cause, fighting for socialism, anti-capitalism, anti-liberalism, and stuff. Well, I mean, pro-liberalism, excuse me. So, what am I trying to get at? Well, this is an opinion, like I said, and from what I see is that after years later of the first black president being in office, of Barack Obama, you know, I wish Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, that would be a better positive black movement, pro-black movement, if Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton became president, one or the other, or vice president, so on and so forth. But that didn't happen during the 1980s with Jesse Jackson and the 2004 election for Al Sharpton. So, you know, they both have their own little pro-blackness in them, or whatever the case may be. Obama kind of blacks and whites together with his background, and that's a good thing on people's part. But then it's like, where on earth we have to understand about this pro-black movement being maintained. I mean, I'm not saying that we're supposed to have always fighting the government or always fighting the opposition or the oppressors and stuff like that, but we're living in the year 2022 right now. It's been how many years after the first black president? We see that all this information is coming out about the New World Order agenda. Now it's turned into this Great Reset, the Great Awakening, all this stuff, eat bugs. One thing leads to another, something has to give, because, whether you're black or white, there's always someone trying to screw you over with your group. And especially if there's more than one group involved, or one specific group, and that group can be like, a mixture of billionaires or a mixture of congressmen or lawmakers, things of that matter. So, my opinion can be a little bit distorted. My opinion sounds like it's all over the place. When I thought of the pro-black movement, I thought it was about equality, justice, and all that goodness about mankind being together as one, or not together as one, but at least to have our own mankind, our own, not mankind, our own steadiness in life, our own life, liberty, a pursuit of happiness, equality under the law. And that's what I was taught when I was younger, or at least that's what I've read the books on. Because my mom, she would tell me not where to go, but she'll tell me about these people. Okay, I'll look them up and use them for book reports. So I started to see that, these teachings are a little bit outdated, and you can't teach every single black kid that it's about fighting for rights, whatever. Because now everyone's about having the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Michelama and Midas resources. Never Midas auto mechanics, whatever. You got the Coke, Pepsi, Xbox, PlayStation. Who's going to really fight for a cause or something for that they already been privileged, not privileged enough, but to have the ability to earn these things through just work, and that's it. But some of these Xbox players think I'm some sort of loser, a complete 100% loser, because I, one person myself, collect some more money from the government, knowing that we all pay into the system and we continue to pay into the system somehow, some way. Some sales taxes, income taxes, death taxes, called quote unquote death tax. We are paying no matter what, however you think of anyone you think of. If you think there's moochers, they're not moochers. If they are moochers, that means they never worked before, never contribute, never donated, never did any advocacy work, volunteer work. All well and good. They should all be ousted from using these services, right? But that's only a handful. But if you see someone like me, it's that was a big deal. But I know I'm going off topic here, but Chris Chan, who's like this, he's a white person, obviously, but he actually has his own little Social Security money he talked about online, and he collect all this Sonic gear, like these plushie dolls and shit like that. It's like, they don't want to say nothing about that, but then little old me, I'm the one that's talking about the benefits of what I gain. Of course, it's not the biggest thing as just sliced bread, but it's something that I'm maintaining from utilizing to sell drugs and stuff, or to whatever the illegal means to make money. Because who's going to really hire me in this neighborhood? Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm tooting my own horn and making excuses for myself, but after going out there, working my ass off, going from job to job, place to place, most of these jobs, they don't care about you. They don't care about if you need money or not for your apartment or for a household or buying food for yourself, whatever. Why should I care that much? And that's what's coming down to, where it's like years after all this stuff. So I was working during the Obama presidency. So I'm like, I'm working. I'm seeing something different than I was taught from all these books I've read. I'm like, why is that we're doing this again in the black movement? Like, it defeats the purpose. And when you find out information about Obama's background, being a son of Malcolm X, being born in Kenya, working in Indonesia as a trading student, like one of those exchange students, whatever, for a few years, like it makes you think, like, okay, something's not right about this matter. Because if it's about for the blacks, for the people at large, shouldn't he be allegiance to the United States of America? So kind of weird that that we have to go through another matter. Not in my perspective, that is, that if we have another black president, how much corruption will there be of this person? And if I was to become the second black president, obviously that might not be the case. A person never be the president of the United States ever. Anyone can be the president of the United States if they put their mind to it. But, well, not anyone, but like if you find ways and means to get up there in the ladder, up there in the ladder. But still, it's like you defeat the purpose of this Black Power, Blackness movement. It's like when you meet these other people, the opposite sex, it's about like, oh, what can you do for me, and not the other way around, and vice versa. It's supposed to be a mutual gain. And for what stereotype is that the stereotype of the mad black woman, the mad black man, and stuff like that, and then obviously you see the black exploitation movies from the 1970s and 80s. Those were really starting to make a stereotype for what black men look like, or at least that's the stance for it all. I guess you could say that I'm just all over the place about this matter. I know I should have practiced it, prepared it a little further, but it's something that we should think about as people at large. And like, is this movement really worth going forward gracefully? Like, because in today's world, who really cares about what happened back in the 1960s and 70s, or even earlier than that, the slavery times, things that matter? It's to a point where people are thankful for what they have. I'm thankful for what I have. It may not be much, but it's something. I'm still going to school. I'm still earning some sort of some status. Of course, I shouldn't care about that. It should be about yourself and yourself only, and what is it can you do for a fellow man. But not many people think like that. It's about calling you the N-word on Xbox Live. It's about segregating people and things of that matter. It's stupid. After how many years being on the internet, and I'm like, this is not getting us anywhere. Well, all this information, it's helping us on an individual level, but as a group of blacks, we're not really organized. We're not really. Oh, okay, we are organized to some extent, but it's not fully like under the guise of the black people. And I know this may sound racial to those who are subscribers to me for many years and follow me who are not of this group of people, but it's good to know that, if you want people to thrive and survive in this world, you gotta let them do what they gotta do for themselves. And that's what's going on with me. You gotta do what you gotta do for yourself. And it's iffy. The today's pro-black movement, if it's still around, that is. And not many of these younger people, whether black or white, don't know what happened back during the civil rights movements or slavery times. And the narration, yes, it was literally clenched down, bogged down, contained of this information that it's all blacks being slaves, it's all blacks fighting for rights and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden we found out that there was Irish people being slaves and moved to the United States with the slave trade and stuff like that. Or you find out that their blacks own other blacks in the southern United States, like the Arkansas, Mississippi. Like, they have black slave owners owning slaves. Of black slaves, and it's like, what the hell? It fucks you up. All this stuff happened around the time that of Obama becoming the first black president. I know it sounds like, why you're focusing on this matter for so many years, Charles. It makes you want to think, like, what was the purpose of learning all this shit? Why me now at age 34, as of this recording, May 31st, 2022? Why is it that I'm still having these thoughts and feelings that I want to do something, but that something is not being seen by others as far as like the understanding and to acknowledge and to work with? They think that I'm outdated, these younger crowds, or they think, or whoever sees this channel, they see that I'm outdated with information, or outdated with my cause, or outdated with what I believed in and fought for. Because 10 years ago, it was about the cause, or at least fighting for justice, for get away from the New World Order, destroy the New World Order agenda and stuff like that, somehow, through information and exposure. And now, 10 years later, 15 years, you want to think about it, years later, it's out there, and anyone can find this stuff, and have been, but it's not in its entirety. It's just censored. And whatever I learned now, it's like I'm stupid enough to even talk about it to most of these people. Like, you guys gotta be crazy for thinking this way. Like, you want to tell me on Xbox Live or on these forums, wherever the forums are, oh, Charles, what the fuck you talking about? Shut the fuck up, Charles. Yeah, shut up, Charles. You don't know shit. I was like, you don't know shit either, bro. You're only 20 years old, not even, and you still haven't got a job yet. You still haven't gone out there and worked your ass off like I did. And I still will do it somehow, some way. Whether it's physically, mentally, or both. I got my own things to worry about too. But you can't look at me as some piece of shit because I think differently than you. That's what I don't understand about the movement that I was raised to look into and to embrace. That's what I don't like about the matter at hand. You think this is all about just nothing but chaos and oppression, the whitey boy or the white man and stuff like that dominating the other group of races. It looks like at first, back in the 90s and 80s, but now it's like, who really wants to look back on that? Who really wants to exercise that shit? It's about money, and it's all about money. It was never about the cause, really. It was never about 100% the cause. It was about making money. Everyone's traveling to everywhere. Everyone's going all over the world and stuff. Well, I'm staying here in this apartment complex my whole life, and I didn't stay in the suburbs for a few years. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't travel outside the United States. Never did. But other people, my family members, like all this shit you try to teach me, it doesn't compute with what today's actions of my family members or of the people that are in my neighborhood. Like, how can you guys be saying that you're for the movement for communism? Communism is sharing. That's the basic of the basic of sharing. Yes, I know it causes millions of people to die, and like Hitler and Stalin and things of that matter. So, all right, well, I've been talking for 15 minutes. I thank you for watching. Please thumbs up, subscribe, and share. If you want to donate, look down below in the description box. I'll try to put some references on articles and maybe some readings I found out early in the past, if I can find them, that is. If I cannot over the next few months, then now you know that it's not there, or it's an altered, or it's just incomplete. So, alright guys, see you around. Bye.